So I'm doing my best to work on. Oh, hello, my lovely cultists, and all those not yet initiated. Welcome to another RPG horror story. I'm Hannah, collector of stories and lore, and the cultist with a shoggoth in the basement and a bayaki in the backyard. Today's story is the first of a series about one particular player who, on occasion, could be something of a headache for their DM. Their antics, however, make for a pretty amusing story. So let's begin this bit of schadenfreude and start with the first of this trilogy. Many thanks to Reddit user Starry-Gaze for allowing me to share your story. Oh, before we do though, this is normally where I say original post linked below and all that. However, it seems there's been some weirdness going on. I think Den of the Drake put it best in one of his community posts. YouTube's being dumb again, lads. As I'm sure most of you are aware, both Crit Crab and Foxy Bard have received warnings on their channels for explicit content relating to links posted in their video descriptions. The current hypothesis is that Google's bots are examining Reddit OPs as a whole and monitoring if they engage in NSFW subreddits, and interpreting their links to their stories as links to NSFW content. As such, I will no longer be posting links to the stories in the descriptions of my videos. Instead, I will simply read their names aloud alongside the titles. I don't want to risk my channel because OP wants to post some titties. I apologize for inconvenience this may cause. Just to be safe, I think I might have to do the same. So instead of a link, I will be putting the user's name in the description. Anyway, on with the story. This story is titled Bloody Berry Causes Some Shenanigans. TLDR. Player throws a party member into a fight that didn't need to happen after an out-of-character conversation, and then tried to butcher some cultists to adorn their armor with, much to the party's discomfort. So, not my first time posting here, but this time I will be posting some incidents from a game I started running bi-weekly about a year or two ago. Names are changed to protect the innocent. Our cast of characters. Me, the DM running their first D&D game ever and learning as we go. Hare, a rabbit folk rogue, present for most of the stories. Hawk, a blind wood elf cleric with a seeing eye buddy cop hawk. Oh my god, that's amazing. Bones, a human necromancy wizard who eventually left the campaign. Brew, a halfling alchemist artificer who doesn't play much of a role in these stories. Barry, a shifter beast barbarian who tries to toe the line of being evil. So we should start by noting that this all begins with the first 5 players, and Barry joining in later, with us planning that they were going to be an in-and-out guest character. They were in every session we played, if not always awake during. When we were originally making their character, we decided on an ex-soldier whose home was destroyed. Worked great for me since I had a kingdom in my world that, just 5 short years ago, was wrecked in a 3v1 conflict and completely decimated. Lands taken, royals killed, the whole package. When they described it, it came across as a personal revenge quest, as after 5 years the hatred they had for their attackers hadn't diminished, and they were out for blood. Originally, I thought this meant they were going to go after the major players who had wronged them, generals and leaders and the like. This was not correct, I later learned. First incident, the carriage crasher. Shortly after starting, the party was immediately on the run from a cult that had settled in the homeland of the players, and Barry was found and picked up nearby when one player wanted to check a plot point for their personal story before getting the frag out of Dodge. Barry was informed of the situation and about why everyone was on edge. One night, as Bones and Barry are on watch, I figured I should give them a little scare to keep the energy high as they're role-playing a bit. I send a mysterious cart down the road in the middle of the night with a few lanterns on. I play it off as inconspicuously as I can. One disguises self to look like a rock and hide nearby. The other climbs up a large rocky outcrop they were camping around, and they both wait. I narrate it getting closer, and I get ready for a fight. And then the cart passes. Crisis averted, and everyone calms down. We have a good laugh, and they talk out of character about how they would be super down to rob a cart, all joking and whatnot, having a good time. Then Barry asks if the cart has gotten very far. Nervously, I say no, they aren't going full speed, and during the out-of-character stuff, I normally pause the situation in-game. And then Barry says he throws Bones. Lifts him up like a cat and throws him. Even started raging so he could throw the twig-like necromancer. Whee! Immediately, I say I thought that was out of character, and apparently so did Bones. But Barry, having decided it was what his character would have thought of, picks up the rocky-looking human and tosses him anyways. He hits the cart loudly, and a good round goes by before they stop to figure out why a rock, no, a guy who looks like a rock, just fell out of the sky. Then Barry runs up and starts combat, as Bones gets the frag out of there. As he's running back, the party wakes up and comes to find out what's going on. But it's clear to everyone that these guys are just town guards, not cultists. One of the guards gets a good grapple on Barry and brings him to the ground, but not before Barry can bite off and eat one of the guardsman's ears? I have to inform him that at this point, that would cause an alignment shift, since this was not really true neutral as he had claimed. No immediate gameplay impacts, but it's something to keep in mind. Barry, in turn, decided that he didn't get why it was a bad thing, and chose to go from neutral to chaotic neutral, one down the alignment scale. After a quick talk, the guards are saying,
"Look, you all seem fine, but this guy is insane. Attacked us out of nowhere and ate my friend's ear. Either you prove you can keep him in check, or I will put him down."
Might have been a rushed response, but he was fighting to kill these guys who didn't even know who this crazy shifter was. They found a threat and didn't feel safe letting him walk.
Hey, DM, can I try something?
Hesitantly, I ask, "What do you want to try?" Barry's player then sends me a message saying,
I want to make his eyes go clear as he wakes up from a blood rage, unaware of everything that just happened.
"You what, mate?" Apparently, they had an idea for a character concept that they decided to bring up now, 3 sessions in with them in the party, wanting to make it that occasionally he just goes haywire and starts trying to kill people. And I won't lie, I was ticked. And understandably so. Players, please don't do this. If you have an idea for your character, bring it up outside of session, preferably during character creation, but if not, then between sessions, or at the very least during a break. But doing it during a session like this, especially if it's something that might have a major impact on things, it just puts the GM on the spot in front of the rest of the table. What? Why didn't you bring this up when we were working on your character? Why are you bringing this up now, in the middle of a fight?
Oh, it felt like a good time to do it.
It felt like he was trying to back out of a direct situation he put himself in, and I told him as much. And I should have said no. But when we were making his character, there was a lot of stuff he wanted to do, and it was the sort of direct that a level 3 could not have, under any circumstance, done by level 3. And he said how he always got shafted by the DM he previously used this character with, and never got to do their ideas. I was a weaker man then, and I said he could roll me a D100 percentile over a certain point, and I would allow it, with the restriction that he would not have control over it, or knowledge as to what caused it unless he looked into it. He rolled, passed, and I allowed it. And now I have a special subset ruling for them based off of special stimuli. Fun! The party cuts deal with the guards after that. They give some gold to pay for their friend's medical bill and their trouble, and they go on their way. A good persuasion later, and everyone is asking Barry what the frag that was all about. And Barry, now both in and out of character, has no fragging clue. They bind his arms for the night out of fear for themselves, and Barry, when everyone is asleep, tries to flex the ropes into breaking. I let him roll it, and he fails. Then he continues to roll every 6 seconds or so, unprompted, for the next minute, before I notice what he's doing and tell him it was a single check for the whole night, and it wouldn't mean anything if he could just try again and break the ropes right after failing. It was an experience, and definitely a learning one, but we are only just getting started. Second incident, RPG Chop Shop. After some traveling, they make it to the tip of the nation they're on, a smaller continent to the northwest, and try to go to the one directly below them. 2 weeks' travel on a boat. They start looking around town when they come across some of the cult's preachers. The cult runs the main religion on this continent, so a lot of towns have to listen to them, even if they don't like it. They notice the party, but don't make a scene about it. But the players are on high alert, and are looking for a way off this crazy train. They manage to make arrangements with a local smuggler who agrees to take them across for a small fee. They get on the boat a night later, and out pop some cultists. A brief fight ensues. The cleric, who was almost sacrificed by the cult previously, finds some plot about what's going on. All's well that ends well. And then Barry gets an idea.
Hey DM?
Yeah?
Bunch of bodies here, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm a blacksmith, right?
Me, growing more nervous with each question, if memory serves.
Cool. I'm gonna butcher them, take their bones to enhance my armor, and use their blood to paint it.
Full stop. Everyone in the call is quiet in the moment, and then start going, "What the frag, Barry?" I tell Barry under no uncertain terms that this would force another alignment shift from neutral to evil, as while this is a truly metal idea, it really is too. Oh my god, that is so awesome! And I will let them so long as the players don't stop them. The butchering and adornment of mortal, sentient beings with emotions and aspirations is considered an immoral and taboo act of evil by all major gods, form of morals, etc., etc.
But they're the bad guys. They were evil too.
They were evil aligned, but neither you nor your character knew that. And even if you did, 2 wrongs do not make it right. Hare and Brew pipe up, telling the player that if they do this, they will speak out against it, and the cleric especially says that they would initiate combat again. Barry whined,
But they were trying to kill you, and they were worshipping a demon.
Hawk responded,
Doesn't matter. They were of my order, and no matter what dark path they may go down, I will show them respect in death.
Barry, seeing that they can't do this without upsetting multiple party members, backs down. Oh man, that armor would have looked so cool too. We all go about our evening. The captain admits they were given the choice of comply or die from the cultists, and the party forgives him, but still keeps an eye on him and the crew for the rest of the trip. Except for Barry, who saw this man with arms bound, surrendering, and wanted to lop off his head as a trophy. Oh, Barry, you insatiable little rascal. This is not nearly all that this player has done, but this post is getting long, and I'm getting tired having to remember these stories. So for now, I'm going to end it here, and post some more later on when I wake up a bit. To be continued. Oh dear. I can definitely see how Barry's antics could be frustrating. Though, from what I'm getting from this story, it doesn't seem like they're a bad person, or even that guy. Maybe not quite as socially aware as the others at the table, but that's about it, really. I don't really have all that much advice for this one. It feels to me like Barry is wanting something particular out of the game, but just isn't sure how to communicate it. So for all the other GMs out there, if you get this sense from one of your players, all I can really say is to pull them aside and talk to them. See if there's anything in particular they're wanting to do in or get out of the game, and do your best to listen without judgment. And I think that's about it for this story. I look forward to reading the others. I do have to apologize for the inconsistent schedule of these videos. I actually stream full-time on Twitch, and this series is a fairly new one to me. So I'm doing my best to work out a schedule for making them, but feel free to stop by and hang out with me and chat. I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 5 p.m. EST, and Saturdays are TTRPG days, starting at 8 p.m. EST, where we play Malifaux Through the Breach, and... I have blanked out on the name. Starts with an E. Exalted! Jesus, there we go. Oh goodness, and Exalted. Link to my Twitch in the description. And with that, it is time to say goodnight. I will see you all for the continuation of the Berry Tales next time, my wonderful cultists. When the stars align. Worked great for me since I had a kingdom in my world. Just... Shortly after starting, the party was immediately on the run from a cult and had settled in the homeland that had. And Barry was found and picked up nearby when... And Barry was found when one player wanted to check a plot point for their personal story before getting the frag out of there. Frag out of Dodge. I actually stream full-time on